Hello from the Texas Capitol. I'm Jack Fink, and you're watching Eye on Politics on CBS News, Dallas-Fort Worth. Governor Greg Abbott delivered his State of the State address. He delivered what he called his emergency items for state lawmakers to consider. Texas Democrats had a response too.
The state of our state has never been more exceptional.
From a business in San Marcos, Texas, Governor Greg Abbott gave state lawmakers his emergency items that he wants them to start work on right away. He wants to use half of the state's budget surplus of nearly $33 billion to reduce Texans' rising property tax bills.
We've all proposed using $15 billion to cut property taxes. Now we must ensure that it provides lasting property tax relief.
Another emergency item, what he called education freedom. It includes school choice and developing education savings accounts funded by taxpayers, which he says the state already does for special needs students.
We want to expand that program to provide every parent with the ability to choose the best education option for their child. Under this school choice program, all public schools will be fully funded for every student.
But education groups, Democrats, and rural Republican lawmakers still worry it will hurt school districts. Without mentioning the Uvalde tragedy last May, the governor also declared school safety as a top priority and said new laws will have teeth.
We must establish the safest standards and then use the newly created chief of school safety to mandate compliance with those standards.
The governor choked up when discussing another crisis.
I met with Texas families who have been ripped apart by fentanyl.
He wants to prosecute poisonings as murders.
We must also increase the supply of life-saving Narcan so that we can save more Texans who are ambushed by fentanyl.
In this video, the Texas Democratic Party provided a response to the governor, criticizing him for not proposing raising the age of buying an AR-style firearm from 18 to 21 and for banning most abortions.
There are challenges ahead of us this legislative session. We're not going to lie to you and say the fight will be easy.
But we can promise you, Democrats are going to fight.
While we're here at the Capitol, Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan of Beaumont spoke with us about his legislative priorities this session. We spoke with him a day before Governor Abbott delivered his State of the State address and after the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick outlined his chamber's top priorities. Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan didn't mince his words about the $3.3 million Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has agreed to pay 4 of his former top staffers to settle their whistleblower lawsuit against him. Court documents show the 4 men and others went to the FBI more than 2 years ago and made allegations of bribery against Paxton, who later fired them and called them rogue employees. In a statement, Paxton said he's settling the case in part to save taxpayer money, but Phelan disagrees taxpayers should pay.
I don't anticipate that $3.3 million being in the House budget. Mr. Paxton is going to have to come to the Texas House. He's going to appear before the Appropriations Committee and make a case to that committee as to why that is a proper use of taxpayer dollars. And then he's going to have to sell it to 76 members of the Texas House. That is his job, not mine.
Do you support it personally?
No.
Or you don't? Why not? We reached out to the Attorney General's office seeking comment but didn't receive a statement. Phelan is focused on the legislative session and how to use the state's nearly $33 billion surplus. Property tax relief is a priority, and he wants to address what he calls runaway property appraisals and the fact that the taxable value of your home can go up by as much as 10% a year.
I think we need to look at lowering that and applying it to everyone. All property owners, so everyone has the benefit of true property tax relief.
So businesses as well, besides homeowners.
Small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses, landowners, timber value, you name it.
He says that would save renters money too, because right now there is no cap on how much the taxable value of apartment complexes can increase. Also this session, Phelan says the House will hold hearings into social media companies and the impact they have on children.
We're going to take big tech head on here in the Texas House.
He says when it comes to social media in Texas, there needs to be a Bill of Rights.
We know for a fact through whistleblowers that many of these social media companies know their algorithms are predatory. They know that children are addicted to their business plan and they can't put their phones down. We're seeing the mental health issues obviously show their ugly head in both public education and higher education.
Here now is some of our interview with Speaker Phelan. Well, what specific measures do you have in mind? And so you're talking about who? Facebook, you're talking about Twitter, you're talking about Instagram. Who are you talking about?
All of them.
Before we get into some of the other priorities, I did want to ask you something that made headlines last Friday, and that is that the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, has agreed to settle with 4 of his former top officials for $3.3 million. Should taxpayers have to foot the bill for that? And so do you support it personally?
No.
Or you don't? Why not?
I don't think it's proper use of taxpayer dollars.
And so let me ask you about property tax reform and property tax relief, which I think is one of the top priorities regardless of where you are at the Texas Capitol and throughout the state. One of the ideas that's mentioned is raising the home exemption from $40,000 to $70,000. Where are you on that specifically? And I know when you were re-elected Speaker, you had mentioned runaway appraisals and doing something more long-lasting. Where are you on that? So businesses as well, besides homeowners.
Small.
All right, and so you're saying that instead of raising the homestead exemption? What about renters? Do they deserve a break as well? There's a lot of talk about improving the Texas grid, making it more reliable. There are a lot of ideas out there. What ideas do you like? One thing that we have heard is that it's going to cost people more money for the reform that's going on. And have you given any thought to the idea of giving ratepayers, use some of the surplus and give it back to ratepayers in some form or fashion?